All right, we'll continue with our discussion, and I would like to have Payal Agarwal. Uh, After the break, we will continue our dialogue with her. Payal, are you around?
Yeah, hi sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. So if you remember, we were just talking about four major communication tools and how they evolved. To begin with, brands were using personal selling because they were localized. Then when they start going national, they realize that this doesn't become efficient communication tool. They move to mass media, started advertising, which is a standardized communication where you talk about brand's benefit. And then they found that advertising creates awareness, it creates interest in the brand, but does not actually immediately lead to sales. So they backed it up with what is called sales promotion, which is a communication about the incentive that is given to the brand, and may still happen on the mass media. And towards the end of 20th century, brands started recognizing the potential of personal communication using interactive technology, which made them a little more efficient compared to the face-to-face communication, which were also personal communication. So we talked about four major types of communication, Payal. Uh, and two of them obviously are personalized communication. The two of them are mass communication predominantly, and one can realize their own strengths and weaknesses. But brands realized that all four of them actually had started facing some challenges towards their effectiveness, particularly because of one problem which was identified with all four of them. uh, what do you think that problem could be, which is common across these four communication tools that the brands faced?
Sir, maybe as we were discussing the effectiveness of the communication, because at a broader level, there should be synergy between all the stakeholders who are communicating with the customers, right? So, with all the four tools, processes, I feel that there is some lack in terms of proper effectiveness of how we are communicating. So there should be proper synergy between all the methods, and it should be more personalized, as well as at the same time it should target more customers, but it should be personalized so
Yeah,
that
so you use them in combination, no, but uh, despite it being personalized, let's say, for example, face-to-face selling, is it personalized? Certainly, it is personalized, right? So if a salesperson comes and tries to sell you something, uh, what would be your reaction?
it depends on the credibility of the brand, which like how I perceive the brand equity and brand value. As such, just a salesperson coming to me to sell a product, I won't it would be difficult for a salesperson to convince a customer unless and until
Okay,
his brand awareness and
American
equity.
Express comes on campus, Standard Chartered.
Yes, they do, I guess. Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you think of these companies? They're good companies.
Yes, sir.
All right. Suppose American Express, sales executive calls you up. hmm, That good afternoon, ma'am. I'm calling from American Express, and I have to sell you. Congratulations, you are now eligible for silver credit card or some such platinum credit cards. What would your reaction be?
So first, I would like to see whether I need those credit cards or not. So
Hmm.
basically, it boils down to uh, in the first place, if at all, even if it is a best brand, it does not matter if I need that product or service or not. So basically, the target customer should be defined, like
Or
whether
for example, say for example, there's a salesperson. Apple is a good brand, right?
right.
The person comes and knocks your door and says, "Ma'am, I'm selling iPhone 12. Why don't you buy one? You need that product." What would be your reaction? Would you buy from that salesperson?
So no, I guess no.
Why?
So because I would feel it to be more credible and trustworthy if I get it from the store. Because
Mm. You don't trust these fellows who come to your house, right? Who
yes,
call you up unnecessarily at any point in time, right? Even if they are from big companies, you hate them actually. You would register, them in do not call registry, that phone number, block that caller, right? And email comes, you put them in spam, any company, how big that company is, isn't it? You don't like this kind of intrusion. You don't like this kind of communication between
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Can you please repeat? You're not audible.
I'm not audible. Can you
Now,
hear
now
me
you
now?
are. Now you are.
No, no. What I'm trying to say is that these people, personal selling, personalized communication, we don't like it generally, as consumers. Am I right or wrong? Because we don't believe them. And, they are not credible. They quite often cheat. You can't believe them. You better go to online store and buy. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Also, it depends on the convenience and comfort of when they are visiting, along with the trust issues. So, if I visit a store online or offline, I would go there according to my convenience and availability. But same
Hmm.
won't be the case when there is a salesperson or an executive coming to my door to offer a service or a product, right? So that could also be one of the reasons.
Suppose even if the person comes at convenient time, you are right, that's another issue that you deal with. But suppose somebody comes and explains that iPhone is better. iPhone perhaps a different case of, Oppo some model is very very good, very good. What you would do, you would not believe him. You will ask somebody who's perhaps using same phone, or somebody who's into mobile phones and doing research on mobile, and try to figure out, well, which is a better phone, is this a good phone? Am I right or wrong? You don't trust these people because they are representing the brand. They obviously will talk good about their company and their products. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir, that's true.
Do you like advertising? Do you
Sir,
believe advertising?
sir, mostly, sir, it depends on what mark they leave on the consumers' minds, like what perception they create. So, for example, if we take example of Maggie or some products which are running since long, so there we just have that perception in our mind. That's why we might believe them. But new brands coming up, it'll be difficult unless it's a very,
You see a lot of advertising of, say, what is called, SRM University or ABC University. And you don't see much of advertising of IIM Kozhikode. Which brand you believe?
so because these are already established brands like IIMs and premier institutes, but the other institutes like you're talking about
But
SRM or
without advertising, isn't it?
right, sir.
Except cat announcement, you don't get to see too much of advertising. Am I right or wrong?
Correct.
But you still, because if I am start talking about that we are 100% placement, would you believe? No, right? And that's the problem actually. Nobody wants to believe people who are boasting. Unfortunately, with all the communications that we talked about so far, you identify them as commercial communication. You know that the brands are putting money to promote themselves, whether it is sales promotion. You say 50% off. Payal, I'm sure you would have faced this. You go to a store, very reputed store, very reputed brand, 50% off. You go there, you identify some good shoes, or bag, handbag, whatever, and then go to the counter, and that fellow says that give me 5,000 rupees, and says, isn't it supposed to be on 50% off? This is no, ma'am, but you say, no, but there's a big board out, on the store, 50% off. No, that is only these 5 items which are there in that corner are on 50% off, isn't it? And then say, hey, Wayne, this is cheating actually, no, man, there's an asterisk put, up to 50% off. All these are 0%. That is also up to 50%, and that the only two items are. So this is how it actually happens. Am I right or wrong, Payal?
So yeah, that is true. That happens in most of the cases.
So who believes this? This is the problem. These are problem created by brands themselves. But as the competition, increases, people like go overboard and do make promises which are exaggerated promises. And the consumers then eventually say that, hey, all this is bullshit. They are trying to sell them their products. You don't believe them, right? I don't know whether you've heard. I was just telling this story to other two sections. Is an ex deodorant brand manager, right? He was taken to court by some Punjabi Munda. So what actually happened is this ex deodorant positioning is that you apply ex deodorant. It's a man's deo brand, and you'll be able to attract a lot of women, and it appeals to men because men generally would like the company of women. And ex deodorant is doing roaring business. Now this Punjabi man, kind of sorry, not to take any offense to Punjabis or anything, but basically he kind of fell for this promise. He emptied several cans over 6 months and not a single girl, poor fellow. And then he says that what kind of brand promises? Ranbir Kapoor is counting number there. It goes up to 1,000 in a day, and I am applying ex deodorant. Nothing happens actually. But he took the brand manager to court. This is what happens to advertising. Nobody believes today to your advertising. Nobody believes to your sales promotion offers. Nobody entertains your sales people or direct mailer. They create junk folders and take your mail directly into spam folder. So how can you as a brand manager communicate to people if people stop believing in whatever you say? How can you communicate? What kind of marketing communications do you do, Payal?
So, sir, it should not be very over the board, just saying like promoting random stuff. It should somehow relate to the product, and it should.
The problem is that you do, modest and not over the board communication. Your competitors are, from IIM Calcutta and IIM Ahmedabad. They will, spoil the game. What will you do?
So, sir, actually, that is
You are a wise person, right? No, other people are, idiots. Eventually, what will happen? Consumer would lose faith in all the communication. Then they would not know. Even if you make modest claim, they will say this also must be bad, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So what do you do now? That is the situation today. Brands are struggling to win the trust of the consumers.
Sir, I think based on my personal experience, I would say that trusting people who are already using those brands or products. So basically, word of mouth from your trusted colleagues or peers or friends, relatives, whoever are using, that would be one of the most credible sources to understand whether that brand is actually delivering what it is promising and claiming to deliver or not.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Right. So you don't take IMC course, because the course outline talks about great learning. You will get great job in Unilever or Procter and Gamble. You ask people, hey, what happens? This, your seniors and your fellow colleagues and all that. This is a useless course, and then you stop taking. So you generally rely on other people. Don't rely on the marketing literature. That is a human behavior, because you don't have faith or credibility or trust in the sponsored communication. For God's sake, the brand realize that it is to some extent we use sponsored communication, commercial communication, where people know that we are promoting ourselves, but it doesn't work all the time. We also have to have a communication tool where we don't say anything, some other people say, right? And more importantly, people who are expert in this area would endorse that. Am I right or wrong, Payal?
Yes,
So
yes, sir.
so do brands have any such communication where third party communication happens?
Sir, can you please repeat? I'm facing some lag with your voice. I think there's a network issue.
No, I am saying that if you boast about yourself, people would not believe you, right? But
That's
if you have other people talking about you, that okay, Payal is a very good, student, and she has a lot of potential to be a marketing manager or something like that, then you would believe that. But if you make your 15 CV points on your CV, a recruiter may not believe, isn't it?
so, but that's where I guess initial packaging comes into picture, right? So, although they would like
So
receive
the
feedback.
question is that do marketers have any communication tool where they take third party help to talk about themselves? No, they themselves don't talk about, because if they open their mouth, people will start doubting.
Um, yes,
So people are saying word of mouth, you are saying other users and all that. The problem is that right from the beginning, brands always knew that word of mouth is also face to face communication. But unlike personal selling, the face to face communication, word of mouth is between two consumers, not a representative of a brand. And quite often these consumers have experienced the brand, or they have expertise in judging the quality or the benefit of the brand, and then they talk about, and people would obviously have trust because this is not a sponsored communication. But so brand always knew that the user word of mouth communication is the most credible communication. People would believe other users, like Payal is saying. But they never made any attempt to do anything about it, right? In word of mouth just happens to consumer talk about it, good or bad about brand. It never bothered brand, because you and I, if we talk about some brands, doesn't matter, you kind of start doing something, say that IMK is a third rate institution, IMK is immune, this is big brand, your word would go to 5 people. And even if you make a mission in your life, you can at the max reach to 100 people. You might want to say good things about IMK, but that also can reach only to 5,000 people in your entire life. I mean, that is what the brands believed, and it was a fact. Of course, now it's a different situation. You yourself would have 10,000 followers on your Facebook, and they would be then having so many followers themselves. So you just put a message on Facebook, it can reach to millions of consumers. So social technologies have changed things. But before that, the brand started realizing that if they have to do credible communication, they have to find experts who are credible voices on any product category, and they should talk about these brands rather than they talking about themselves. And they should also have access to large number of audiences. And these people were journalists, these people were opinion leaders who would write in the newspapers and magazines, television, and all that. So Payal, I'm sure you would have heard of this guy called who's that man, Gadget Guru. What is his name? I forget. Right. Gadget Guru show. Have you heard of it on NDTV, Payal? Payal, are you there?
uh, yes, sir. Are you talking about Technical Guru or something? I've watched a couple of YouTube videos, I believe. I'm not sure.
Achha, you don't watch television, but Shubham watches, and he's right actually. Rajiv Makhni is a guy who runs a show on NDTV called Gadget Guru, where they talk about different new mobiles and new technologies which come, and he explains and does review. And then you have auto show on television, Sunday on India Today, and you new car launch, somebody will take you on test drive on a television, right? These are experts who are reviewing new cars, what are the features and explains and all. And people like it, they believe them more than the salespeople of these companies. And you also have IIMK, placements talked about by Economic Times is more credible than you advertise in the, commercial space and say that 100% placement. So when third party experts write about you, particularly mass media, journalists, reporters, experts, then your brand's communication becomes more credible, and that is what is traditionally called public relations. So public relation is a communication tool which happens using third-party opinion leaders. Now, what has happened in last 10 years, I was telling you word of mouth is not the oldest communication tool. It is the latest communication tool. Despite brands knowing that word of mouth is very credible, they didn't do anything about it because it was not reaching large number of people. It's only in last 10 years that, you and I, ordinary users, can have tremendous influence with the social network and social technologies. So today, if you use social media, you can reach to millions of people. My assistant, academic associate, now he's working in another office. He is now a celebrity, with 100,000 people following him on Instagram, right? So ordinary people can become celebrities, and they have huge following and they can have a great impact. So if they talk about, brands, people would believe because these are independent reviewers. You watch YouTube and you find that there are internet celebrities, right? PewDiePie and all those people. And, you would have these people talking about your brand. So if they talk about unboxing iPhone 12, that becomes much more credible than anybody. Today, in fact, Apple, for example, their annual, Cupertino small room Team Cook presentation uh, is how they launch the product. Can you imagine, right? Such a big global brand is launching a product in a closed door, 500 people auditorium in some godforsaken place in Seattle, or I don't know where. So why, that? Because these people who are sitting there are the people who are journalists. Next day, you will have Economic Times talking about iPhone 12 launch in India, right? And you will have hundreds of such, reporters in their respective, medias and handle talking about the brand, and that becomes more credible, source of information for iPhone rather than iPhone advertising. Of course, iPhone will advertise subsequently, but since it is news, everybody will talk about the innovative new products that they have launched, and this is what is public relations. So what we are trying to say is that marketers have 5 major communication tools. Personal selling, which is face-to-face communication between a sales representative and the consumer, which has got its own advantage, is most effective because it's personalized communication happening on a face-to-face basis. And then you have advertising, which is mass media communication. It is very efficiently taking your message and brand's benefit to the large number of people, but it does not result into immediate sales, though it can be a great tool for brand building. Sales promotion is used in, complementary to the advertising, to take temporary advantage of lifting sales temporarily by providing incentives. So you communicate incentives there. And then, you have direct marketing, which is use of technology, whether it's mobile, SMSs or phone calls or telemarketing or, emails or, even chatbots or intelligent agent. All of these basically, are helping you create personalized communication. More importantly, to build relationship, not just selling. And the last tool that we're talking about is actually a third-party communication. It may happen over mass media or social media, where you have individual influencers or users, with large reach or followers in the network are used to communicate this. So word of mouth is now becoming significant tool for the marketers. And today companies, have mechanisms to engineer viral campaign. How do you really, like China did this coronavirus, campaign. Brand managers can do, viral campaign using, social media influencers, right? So we'll talk about all of this, but broadly what we are seeing, these 5 modes of communication that you have, and virtually every kind of communication can be fitted into this. So word of mouth communication, since it is third party communication with credibility as a focus, I would put them into public relations in the traditional sense. So once you understand, these communication tools and how they add value, or what do they bring to the table of the brand manager, then perhaps you'll be in a better position to evaluate when do you use them, when you don't use them. So if you look at this table, it provides the characteristics as well as which areas or which criteria this tool score high, low, or average. Will give you an idea. So whether which is expensive, what is measurability, image building ability, whether it's sales action, credibility. Different tools have different advantages, and hence what becomes important for a brand manager is to create integration of this communication tool and create the right mix, create an appropriate recipe which is best suitable for that situation to achieve the communication objective, which is better return on communication investment. So that's what the idea of integrated marketing communication is. Before we go further, let's just look at a quick story of a brand and what they did. So this was Temptations brand. I'm sure you would have heard of it, by Cadbury's, launched way back in late 90s. And they launched the brand with the benefit which they called Too Good to Share. Just take a look at the launch campaign to get an idea as to how the brand was positioned.
I'm gonna guess. It is an appalling habit, destructive to the logical faculty. Why blame me for falling in love? Hello? Introducing the premium range of international chocolates. Cadbury Temptations. Too good to share. Hello? Hello? Hello?
So as you could see, the brand, obviously this was a brand launched by Cadbury's when in their portfolio, the largest selling brand was Cadbury's Dairy Milk, which perhaps even today is. But in those days, this was the only brand commanding 80-90% total sales of Cadbury's. And hence, of course, they wanted to launch premium chocolates. So they launched Temptation, at much higher price, almost 4 times the higher price than CDM. And so it was a premium chocolate. You can imagine, it would target to young urban professionals. And you can see the kind of people they have shown in the television commercial, husband and wife, young couple, which shares virtually everything in the house, including bedroom, but don't want to share this very, good chocolate from Cadbury's, because it's too good to share, and they cheat on each other to kind of enjoy the chocolates that they are having. So the campaign created the imagery for the brand as to what this brand is all about, who is it for, what kind of people consume, what do they get out of it, and the story was created around the brand. The campaign sort of continued with several such ads. Just take a look at another one.
I must be blind to miss the magic that's in your eyes. Listen, have you seen my glasses? And I must be a fool. Now in 2 exotic new flavors, Cadbury Temptations, too good to share. Honey, your glasses. Found them. I must be blind.
So again, the same story of husband and wife cheating on each other for a piece of chocolate. And the story continued, even, after 5 years when they launched new flavors, new packaging, but the brand retained its imagery. Just take a look at it.
My wife, she's not just a pretty face. She's very clever. Wherever I hide my temptations, she seems to find them. Smart girl, isn't she? I've tried every trick in the book. found a place where I can safely hide my temptations and relax. She'll never find them. Shh.
Darling, where are the temptations? The all-new Cadbury Temptations. International chocolates made with exotic ingredients. Too good to share.
All right, so now you know the brand story. The brand goes into a campaign in early 2000, which revolved around this idea of too good to share contest. And for the first time in the history of Indian advertising of packaged consumer goods, the fast-moving consumer goods, this was the first brand to go on internet to. This was the first campaign to go on internet to talk about packaged consumer good. Uh, Primarily because, of course, this was targeted young urban professional who had access to internet in those days. Now, of course, everyone has it. So this was a campaign that they did, on all popular sites, Rediff, India Times, Yahoo. You had these internet banners which actually talked about something called Too Good to Share contest, and it said that enjoy 5 flavors that are fantastic, Too Good to Share contest, which can help you win tickets for 2 sessions. So these banners were actually there on popular websites, which were adapted in variety of different designs, including Skyscraper. You click on it, you are taken to the campaign microsite, which actually talked about this Too Good to Share contest, and you had variety of different details of prizes and stuff like that. So you can actually win prize tickets for 2 sessions, and if that excites you, you can actually decide to enter the show. So you have a little chocolate piece, you click on it, and you will have information about how do you really enter this Too Good to Share contest. And it said to enter the Too Good to Share contest, you will have to have a buy. You have to buy a bar of Cadbury's Temptation first. Look for your contest number on the leaflet accompanying in the pack. Hit right back here, enter the number, and go ahead, give into your temptation. You could get lucky and win grand prize. So basically, it demanded, for interested people to actually buy Cadbury's Temptation bar. Inside the pack, there was a number. That number, has to be found, and then you come back to this site, enter on this contest form, and you have a form where you can enter your number, which you found in the pack of Cadbury's Temptation. Give your name, address, phone number, date of birth, and other profile data. And hey, you might end up winning tickets for 2 sessions. And not just that, this website also had some other sort of links which allowed people to engage. For example, if you click on this brand Choco Facts, you would have some trivia like this, right? It says something like, if you're worried about chocolate containing too much of caffeine, relax. There is more caffeine in 1 cup of coffee than there is in about 10 Cadbury Temptation bars. And for people like you, this one's all for you lovebirds out there. The ancient Aztec believed that chocolate was an aphrodisiac. So you have trivia like this which excited people, and created some engagement on the website, and people participated in the contest. So they had these internet banners which led traffic to this website where the actual contest one could participate, but they also used other media like television commercials which talked about Too Good to Share contest promos. On Star Plus channel, they in fact partnered with the Star Plus group of channels, and they got some commercial time and talked about Too Good to Share contest, and they used a novel channel of communication for the first time in the history of Indian advertising called ATM. So as you can see here, this was a poster that was kept on the glass door of an ATM. In those days, ATMs were very beautiful places, right? So it's like big huge room, fully air conditioned with glass door, and you had luxurious environment because there's a lot of cash coming. Today's ATM are in any corner near a toilet or something like that in a shopping mall. But those were the days. You had luxurious ATM machines, and they in fact tied up with ICICI Bank, to have all their ATMs converted into too good to share contest, material. So an ATM room which had this poster space or this writing desk or some dispensers, here, or even ATM screen or the transaction slip that came out of that. Everywhere there was too good to share contest. So you can't miss it if you've gone to ICICI Bank ATM. And what you find are messages like this: if you think it's hard having a joint account, try sharing this. Enter too good to share contest at www so and so, and you could win tickets for 2 sessions. So as you can imagine, they try to reach out to audiences who were upmarket urban audiences using ATM through that particular channel. And they could find that this channel was very successful because many of these ICICI Bank ATMs are in the forecourt of Indian Oil petrol pump. And Indian Oil petrol pump, some of them also have this retail outlet called Convenio. They had stocks of Temptations there, and they could see the lift happening during this campaign period. So it's a pretty effective communication channel. But surprisingly, it turned out to be the last campaign on ATM, right, in the history of Indian advertising. So in that sense, this particular story is quite a landmark story, because it was the first and last campaign you could see on ATM. Do you see advertising on ATM today? No. You see, I mean, you might see advertising on ATM, but largely of the house brands. So SBI will talk about SBI Life, and HDFC will talk about HDFC Insurance or mutual fund and all that. But no third party advertising happening in ATM, primarily because RBI comes into action. And all those banking people perhaps might find this trivia interesting, that this campaign actually drew attention of RBI, and RBI said that to all the banks that you can't use ATM for advertising purpose, because that is supposed to be providing banking services. You are given license to do banking services and not license to to license to do advertising. So if you want to run a media company, become Times of India or something like that, but don't do banking. So under the guise of banking, you cannot run the media company. That was what some argument is basically. So after that, you don't see third party campaign on ATM. So it was an interesting campaign that was done at that point in time. And they had fairly interesting prizes also, because even the Seychelles tickets, that destination was chosen very strategically, because I don't know how many of you are aware, Seychelles is known as Temptations Island, and we are promoting Temptation brand. So it made tremendous sense, because everything that you do contributes in creating perception about the brand. It has to be aligned to the strategy that you have identified. The prices were very exclusive. These are the prices you can't buy at the store nearby. For example, they had audience passes of reality show. In those days, early 2000, between 2000 2010, I think it was an era on television of reality shows. And KBC, was super hit show that time, even today, partially. Kulja Sim Sim. And several other shows. They had tied up with Star TV, so there was some exclusive merchandise like Star Movies, clapper boards, and National Geographic merchandise and stuff like that. So these were the exclusive prizes, too good to share prizes, as they called it. And the whole campaign was using internet, television, ICICI Bank ATMs, and also pack insert. So if you have missed everything else and you end up buying Temptation, you can still participate in the contest, because it had this contest information. So as you can see, the whole flow was something like this as part of the campaign. Television promo, TVCs, ATM, go to microsite. If you have got the pack, bought the pack, enter the number, win the prize. If you don't have the number, go and buy the pack, find pack insert, come to the microsite, enter the number, and win the prize. And at the end of this campaign, they could generate about 1.25 lakh entries in 2 months, and about 75,000 unique profile database obviously can be used for cross-selling. So my question to Kushal Solanki is that if you have paid attention to this particular story, you will have to tell us what communication tool of the 5 major communication tools that we talked about is at the center of the story? Kushal?
Yes, sir. So maybe PR.
Okay, what is PR?
Because they were using ATMs for that. I mean, not their core channel, but like they were targeting through ATMs.
What is PR?
Personal relations. Public relation.
So what is public relations?
So like traditionally companies used, as you said, reporters and newspapers for that.
What
So
does it mean?
ATM,
That, they are not the company's spokespeople, at least pursued by the
Yeah.
people, right?
yes.
So when you look at newspaper report, you don't think that this is advertising. You don't think that the company is saying. It is, the story is told by the third party, right? Independent, neutral person.
Yes,
In
sir.
this particular case, you can make out that, this is a poster, printed by company in the ATM. How can it become PR? PR is an indirect communication. You don't even know that the company is sponsoring this communication. Kushal.
Yes, sir.
What was the campaign all about? What was it trying to communicate?
Basically, the product, upmarket product, Cadbury Temptation.
Right. Any particular thing about temptation?
It's like the whole campaign moved around. It's too good to share.
Okay.
It's kind of a luxury product and targeted to young professionals, urban professionals.
And
with
what if you
limited
buy Too Good to Share temptation chocolate? What will happen to you?
So basically, you will get chance to go to different places or like merchandise.
You can win
Discounts
prizes,
and
isn't it?
all those. Yes.
So when you have an incentive communicated, these are incentives, isn't it? The prizes.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
a
sir. Yes, sir.
contest, right?
Yes, sir.
And this prizes, when will you get? When you buy temptation chocolate, you get
Yes.
it. Because only there inside the pack you will find a number to participate in the contest. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Which means that these are incentives. Are you selling chocolates, or you are selling this, tickets to go to Seychelles? But
Chocolates,
what you are
sir.
trying to communicate is the tickets to go to Seychelles. You are talking about Too Good to Share contest. You're talking about KBC passes, isn't it? Which are incentives given to the people who buy temptations. What kind of communication is this? Priyanshu.
So this could be promotion here.
It is sales promotion because you have short-term incentive. The campaign was done for 2 months or 1 or 2 months, and you have an incentive tied to the sales. It's a sales promotion, Priyanshu, right or wrong?
Yes.
But what you saw that before this Too Good to Share contest, there were some commercials which I shot, which was done earlier, right? Before this campaign. Do you think this Too Good to Share contest would have made any sense if you had not seen those commercials?
No, sir. Commercials were important.
Yeah, because the Too Good to Share is a brand story, and the whole imagery was, communicated through advertising. So advertising is not talking about incentive, it is talking about the brand's value. What are the benefits that you get brand? What brand actually stands for? What is the meaning of the brand? And that is done by advertising. Of course, at the heart of this entire story is this Too Good to Share contest, which makes sense only if it is used as complementary tool to advertising. Right, Priyanshu?
Yes, sir.
So what we are trying to say is that, if you want to make the most of your communication investment, right, you have to use multiple communication tools in an integrated fashion. What you also see, Priyanshu, is some other kind of integration happening, which is reflecting the slide that perhaps is in front of you. What is that? What is this last slide talking about?
So they have collected data for these two customers that have bought
Right.
the Temptations chocolate for this contest, and now they can use it to sell their other brands.
So they not only lifted the sales using the sales promotion contest, but in the process, as a byproduct, they could generate database of the consumers, right? Because they participated by filling up the form, and now you have about 72,000 unique profile database. Now what you can do with this, you can actually send SMSs to the, now your mobile number, right? So if Priyanshu participated in this contest, I have Priyanshu's mobile number and also his date of birth. So I can send a customized, tailor-made, personalized SMS to Priyanshu on his birthday, saying that, hey, many happy returns of the day. Here is a special offer for you on celebrations, Cadbury's gift hamper or gift pack. Right, Priyanshu?
Yeah. Yes.
And that would appeal to you because obviously your friends are asking for some chocolates. So you say, okay, on my birthday, I will give you this, right? So basically, what you are trying to see here is that sales promotion then gets dovetailed into direct marketing, so to say, where you have personalized communication happening using the data you have collected. So what I'm trying to say is that over a brand's journey, over the years, you use multiple communication tools. It's only you have to decide strategically which communication tool to use when, and when you use appropriate communication tools in the right mix, you get better return on investment. So the idea is not to use only advertising or only direct marketing. I am so and so brand, I am a bank, I cannot do advertising. No, you still have to do advertising, though you do large amount of direct marketing. I am a chocolate company, I will not do direct marketing. That's not the idea. You have to, allocate resources in appropriate measure to create the right mix, which actually is the best for your brand in that situation. And that's what actually is integrated marketing communication. So what we are talking about is using right tool at the right time, the right proportion, by allocating resources, is the integrated approach to do communications planning. And for that, you must understand each communication tool's strengths and weaknesses, as we discussed today, and then evaluate the situation of the brand, and then decide that in given situation, which particular tool would be the best to achieve brand's objective. In a general sense, if I have to tell you, most of the cases, don't cite a specific example and say no, it doesn't work. I know that will not work in all cases, but by and large you find that public relations and advertising are the communication tool which generally aims to create meaning for the brand. It creates awareness, it creates interest, it creates engagement and liking for the brand, it creates brand building. And then you have communication tools like sales promotion, which is incentive oriented communication, personal selling and direct marketing, which focuses more on generating sales. So they are more sort of, action tools, whereas these are priming tools. They create communication, create imagery, brand building, and then this tools, so in the initial phase of brand's launch, in its life cycle, you rely on public relation advertising. So if a new iPhone 12 launches, you do public relation. If a new film gets released, you do public relations. So cinema industry, for example, is the biggest beneficiary of public relation, right? Every movie gets released, 5 years before, much before the release. PR actually is a communication tool which happens much before even the launch, right? Even before the product has come in the market, you have PR starting. So right from, launch of music, or, even muhurtam, of the cinema, where the coconut is broken itself becomes a news. Amir Khan is going to do new movie, which will release into 2022. But, it becomes a news and people, start talking about it. So and then of course, towards the release date, near to that, obviously you will have all kinds of controversies, happening. Leela Bhansali gets slapped, Yash Chopra dies, Deepika Padukone goes to JNU, and all kinds of controversy you try to create so that, your cinema becomes news. It is being talked about, it becomes conversational agenda, third party people like you and me talk about it, and then there's a lot of buzz created, right? It cannot result into sales unless that is backed by, other communication tools. So quite often this PR campaign is before the launch or around the launch. You might have a press conference, you may have a launch party, all that, and then you will have advertising starting, which talks about brand's benefit, and then you might have sales promotion, which can provide incentive to translate into it. In some cases you may follow it up with direct marketing. However, it is not in all cases you do that. You have to understand that how advertising works, right? For example, why advertising and PR is done before sales promotion? Because it is important for the consumers to know the brand's benefit. Like we were just talking with Priyanshu, if you don't know that what Too Good to Share is all about, Too Good to Share a contest would not make any sense to you. So it is important to create advertising and the understanding of brand's benefit, and then you talk about incentive or any other kind of communication which generates sales. But if you don't have any benefits to talk about, or the benefits of your brand is understood by the consumer, and if it is highly competitive market where you can't differentiate yourself, you may launch your brand with sales promotion, right? So there are examples like Jio, telecom services launches, I think in 2015. By then, what was left in telecom market, 99% or 95% of, Indians had mobile phone connection, right? So a telecom services company launching their services as late as in 2015 had no kind of, role to play in the market. And, people know that, all telecom companies are equal, right? So Vodafone people will curse Vodafone, Idea people curse Idea, Jio now are cursing Jio. None of the networks work actually. So people know that, so Jio knew that. Even if they go and say that we are the best network, nobody would believe, because they've had 40 years of experience in variety of different telecom service provider, and they don't work. I wanted to change my mobile number, in that what is called portability. It's difficult. Airtel didn't want. I'm Vodafone. I was sick and tired of that. And I called up Airtel, and they said, sorry, we are not interested in, Can you imagine? That's the audacity that the brand. So what I'm trying to say is very difficult, to find any benefit in any of these telecom services. So Jio says that, we don't do too much of advertising. Of course, they, put Narendra Modi's picture, and Narendra Modi perhaps was used to, being talked about. But more importantly, they also did, massive sales promotion simultaneously, because they didn't have much benefit to talk about, and it worked for them. So any mature product category, highly competitive, new brand which is launching late in the life cycle of the product, and does not have any significant benefit which is different, they will have to create sales promotion, incentivize people to try their product and discover relatively better benefit on their own. And so it's not that always you will find this sequence followed, but you have to understand that what works in what kind of situation, accordingly take a call and develop a strategy which is differentiated strategy for your brand, and that perhaps becomes an important. Thank you very much. I think we must end our session here. And please make sure before you leave today, give important instruction. Kripa, our academic associate, has shared over email to all of you a Google Sheet where you have to give your membership to one of the groups. It's important that you you be part of one of the groups, because two components in this course is evaluation and learning. has to be done in groups. So make sure that you be part of the group by end of the day today or latest by tomorrow morning, because this group will then have to work on case submission assignment, which is due on Monday. So I think you must complete that group building or group forming exercise today itself if possible, and make sure that this Excel sheet are ready with all of you placed in some or the other group. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Monday or Tuesday whenever your next class is. Thank you.